Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1581A, and today's date is May 31st, 2018, and the title of the episode is The Global Economic System is Being Set Up to Crash. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we have been seeing a lot more countries get on board with the blockchain system, and I do believe we're going to see many more countries get on board. Right now, Dubai, they're going to use the blockchain technology for 50% of their transactions by 2021. And this is not just happening in, this little country here, this little country there. Even China right now, the president of China is saying that blockchain is a technological revolution. And China is looking at the blockchain. Russia's looking at the blockchain. And what is happening here is they're preparing for the system to move away from the central banking system into a whole new realm. And we can see that this is actually really happening. Even here in the United States, there are certain states and counties that are allowing people to use cryptocurrencies to pay for their taxes. Corporations are looking to use the blockchain to accept payment and to pay their employees. Soon, we will not need the central bank. Soon, we will not need the banking institutions. Now again, what we need to do is we need to make sure that the central bankers don't try to capture this new system like they did with paper currency, like they did with the paper currency that was backed by gold. They do have the ability to convince governments through bribing them and other means to create laws to say, hey, you have to use our cryptocurrency. But the people, on the other hand, have the power and the strength, and I'm not just talking about the people in the United States, I'm talking about the people around the world. They have the power and the strength to say, no, we are not going to use that cryptocurrency. It's that simple. And once we do this, once we as a people stand up to the central bank, well, it's game over for them. Because we are transitioning into a new system. And countries, businesses, they're all preparing for this. And if you want to know more about cryptocurrencies, you want to learn about them, you can go to the X22 Report school.com. You can take a look at the website. You'll see the school. There's also a trading room there, and you can read all about it on the website. Now, we see here in the United States, everything is starting to break down very, very quickly. And we see that the housing rebound completely is dead in the water. Existing home sales, new home sales, pending home sales, they're all declining. Pending home sales in April, they tumbled by 1.3% month on month. They missed their expectations of a 0.4% gain, and they're well below the analyst estimate. Now, if we look around the country, we can see signings, they dropped in 3 of the 4 regions, led by a 3.2% decline in the Midwest, fell 1% in the South, 0.4% in the West, and we see at this point that the Northeast is unchanged right now, and pending home sales index for the West was the lowest since 2014. Now remember, the interest rates are starting to inch up right now, and we see that mortgage refinances, their activity has imploded to 18-year lows. We see mortgage applications, they decreased by 2.9%, and this is something that we haven't seen since the Great Recession. Actually, we're a little bit below that at this point. And this is just going to accelerate. It's going to get a lot worse as we move forward. Remember, this is the popular time of year where individuals, families, go out and they purchase homes because they want to be in their home before school starts. They want to move during the summer because it's warm. You don't have to worry about bad weather. Yes, it might rain, but you don't have to worry about snow, sleet, and all the other stuff. And a lot of people take vacation during this period of time. And we've seen this before. We've seen it last year, the year before that, and it's just getting worse every single year. And there was a time where home builder stocks, they were continually moving up because they weren't really looking at anything. They always had hope. And now things have drastically changed. It looks like they're catching on to what is happening. And home builder stocks, well, they're starting to decline. And they have been declining since the beginning of this year. So we see that things are rapidly changing. And it's just going to get worse as we move forward. The savings rate right now has tumbled back to near lows. And they're saying that everyone is dipping into their savings. They're out there spending. Everyone is trying to survive right now. And if their credit cards are maxed, they're going to have to dip into whatever savings they have to pay for what they need. And also, if you notice, gasoline prices have been going up. We know that food prices are inching up, and this is costing more money. And if it costs more money, you need to find this money someplace, and if your credit cards are maxed, you need to go into savings. This is not a very good sign. Right now, personal savings, they are back to the levels of around 2007, and this is absolutely awful because we've gone nowhere in 9 years. This system that the central bankers have created, it is not helping the everyday person. And this is why the patriots, Trump, have just pushed forward the agenda to crash the economy. Now, we could see that Trump has been talking about tariffs for quite a while. And he implemented these tariffs with China, Europe, Canada, and Mexico, all at the same time. Not just with China, but everyone. Now, what is this going to do? Well, most likely it's going to start trade wars. The other thing that it does is it automatically kills TTIP and NAFTA at the same time. And we see that the economy is already struggling. How do you push the economy over the edge? Well, you do exactly what is being done. And you wait and you see where is going to be the first domino that falls. And then we look at Deutsche Bank. Now remember, the Italian banks were having problems. We know Deutsche Bank, they were laying off, 10,000 people, 1 out of 10 people. Most likely it's going to be a lot more. They were preparing for this. They were restructuring because they knew what was happening. And we see right now that it's just getting worse and worse for Deutsche Bank. It looks like we're entering a Lehman type of situation right now. And the Federal Reserve, they have a secret rating system known as CAMELS. And what they've done here is they've moved Deutsche Bank into the troubled condition. The troubled condition status, one of the lowest designations employed by the Fed, has influenced moves by the bank to reduce risk-taking in areas like trading and lending to customers. And what we're seeing here is that Deutsche Bank is in trouble. Now, the other rating agencies like Moody's, S&P, Fitch, and the rest most likely are going to downgrade them, and this is going to start a chain reaction. This might be the beginning of the end, and it might spread through all the European banks and into the United States. Now, the secret rating system that the Fed uses, which is known as CAMELS, this stands for Capital Adequacy, Asset Quality, Management, Earnings, Liquidity, and Sensitivity to market risks. And a bank's top-line rating from 1 to 5 takes into account all these categories. The best rating is 1. Trouble banks are rated either between a 4 and a 5. And these scores are not made public. And what we're seeing right now is that everything has been put into motion to shut down the system. It looks like it is time. And the entire economic system is going to rapidly deteriorate as we move throughout this summer. We already see Iran, well, they made a deal with India. And they're going to sell their oil not using the dollar. They're going to be using rupees. So they're bypassing the dollar, and we can see right now that China, Russia, Iran, and the rest of the Middle Eastern countries, they're all going to be using other currencies, and they're moving away from the dollar. This is the end game here. And again, how do you cut off the funding to the deep state, the rogue intelligence, and the rest? You shut down their source of funding. And where does that come from? The central banking system. And this is what we're seeing happen right in front of our faces right now. And it looks like the Patriots decided to make the push now. And they're pushing it really hard to bring it down. And it looks like they're going to do even more to take this economy and push it over the edge. You have to remember, this economy is not a people's economy. We didn't design this economy. This is not the economy that we all voted for. This was forced upon us. The central banking system forced their way into government, made them pass laws, which we don't even know it was actually ratified, and told the people, this is what you need to use. And the people went along with it. Now, in the beginning, they said they're not going to tax anyone. There's going to be no income tax. But of course there had to be income tax because they were loaning the money to the government. Who was going to pay for the interest? And this is why over time, and this is how these central bankers work, they are very patient. They wait. They do not rush. And they tell you things like, don't worry, it's only going to be for the rich. And everyone goes, yay, it's only the rich. Us middle class and lower middle class and poor, we don't have to worry about. The rich should pay. And then what happens over time is that it moves downward to the upper middle class, to the middle class, to the lower middle class, to the poor. And then before you know it, everyone's paying. And over time, they add on more laws and more laws because they need what? More money, because their system is based on debt. And as the debt moves up, you need to collect more taxes. Now, the tax laws went really crazy after the 70s. Why? Because we came off the gold standard. In 2008, they created other laws like FACTA because they needed to go across the globe to look for more money. Anyone that was living outside of the United States and making a living outside the United States wanted a piece of this. They went into banking systems around the world to find funding because they needed to pay for the debt. Here we are today. Nobody has anything left. We don't have the high-paying jobs. Actually, wages are decreasing. Wages are flat. People are getting part-time jobs, which means less taxes into the government. As the debt continually increases at a phenomenal rate, what's happening to the tax base? It's not moving up like the debt. And it's separating. And the gap is getting further and further apart right now. And they know this. They know that this can't last. And this is why there is a push to bring the entire system down. We need to crash the system and restart it into something that the people run, that the people agree upon, about where the people say this is our system. We don't need a central bank. We don't need this private institution to manage us. We can do it fine on our own. So we are headed towards this transition. It is coming very, very quickly. So get prepared, get ready. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.